Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To all my viewers, I hope you will enjoy this video that I created it as a deed to help PhD students. And I would like to start to share you with my PowerPoint presentation. That is the phase of your PhD study. Okay. In PhD studies, a lot of students are having problems. Basically, they think that PhD study is just like a journey where it doesn't change your style. Actually, it's a wrong kind of thinking that you are not being influenced by PhD study. You are actually can be said as having three phases in your PhD study. The first phase could be as trial and errors. Okay, I'll put it there. Trial and errors in my PowerPoint. That could be about 10% of becoming as independent students. Where in your phase of PhD study, you are actually going into three phases: the phase of trial and errors, and the phases of acquiring data or doing your research and experiment. And the phase three is you're trying to become a perfectionist, meaning that you are trying to finish your PhD. So three phases that should be influence you. So if these three phases is not happening to you during your PhD study, you are really will be in trouble. So the trial and errors phase, that is the first phase, where it could be as your first year PhD study, where you will need to learn a lot from others, and you need to get as much advices from these experts, either your supervisors or perhaps your PhD seniors, and even some other students or professors from other universities. This is the phase that you need to somehow create as many create your networking. So this is the trial and error. You will try to get to know authors of certain papers, correspond to them. Don't worry, you can send email to these people. Perhaps they will respond to you. This is, you need the efforts, and in time you will be creatively connect to these people. So you understand how they behave, how they react to you. Of course, this is also the period where you need to start to learn on your experiment tools, such as for scientific people or engineering people. They will need to know about the machines that they use to analyze their experiments. And of course, at this first period or this first phase, you need to develop as much as possible of your skills, either your analysis skills or your writing skills, or even computer skills, including you need to learn about Mendeley's, 38, and a lot of other stuff. So coming to your second phase could be in your second year. This is the year after you're writing your proposals, okay? You started to do some kind of experiment. At this stage, you'll be transforming yourself from 10% independence to become more independence, such as nearly maybe about 50% independent. If you can become much more independent at this stage, you will be getting advantage of finishing your PhD. So this is the stage when you need to be independent researchers. So you try to shift from first year as 10% independence to become more independence. And this is the stage when you do your experiment, get your data. Of course, you started to improve your skills, when you're in second years, including your writing skills. Okay, so this is the vital moment of your PhD. If you didn't get data, if you didn't publish papers, then you start become desperate. So I would like to advise you, knowing these phases, I'm trying to make you not to become as a desperate person, desperado, when at this stage, if you didn't acquire all the relevant skills and knowledge, you'll be starting to pinpoint or starting to to accuse people, especially your supervisor. You will say that your supervisor is not doing enough for you. So this is the stage that the supervisor will start to look on your works, whether you deserve to be getting PhD or not. And then they will start to advise you that they will start to get a little bit angry towards you when you didn't perform. And the first and the last stage, I will say that's the first, the phase 3, or the perfectionist. This is when you become 90% independent. You are free to do your works on your own. This is the time when you are using your analysis skills, and presents your finding. So you need to able to get the good style in presenting your data, understand how you can make it become much more interesting. This is the perfectionist stage. So meaning that in your PhD study, you need to understand that you are transforming yourself from dependent towards to become independent students. Okay, so why? Because at the end, during Viva, you are the only one that will defend your PhD, meaning that you really, you are totally become independent. Your PhD work is your work, it's not your supervisor work. So meaning that you need to make it at the first stage, when the research ideas perhaps coming from your supervisors, but at the end stage, the phase 3 stage, the PhD works is yours. It's not your supervisor work. Okay. So we go to the second slides. I would like to introduce you to phase 1, the trial and errors. We will have another videos later on, perhaps when I have the time. Okay, so how to become independent. Okay, that is the ideas of your first phase. So to become independent, okay, although at the 10% independent phase or the trial and error phase, you need to learn a lot from others. But if you have some kind of ideas or philosophy, it will be better for you. So at this stage, you need to get as much advices from other people, especially your supervisors. So, but sometimes supervisor doesn't tell you what is the thing that you need to do, because they think that you are already understood what you need to do. Okay, so in your first phase, all the things that you need to do is management, because you need to manage your research idea. If you don't manage it, just like if you don't plan it, you are planning for failure. So that is the things that you need to realize. And of course, acquire knowledge and skills, establish networkings, and this is the stage when the trial and errors. So make as many mistakes as possible. Okay, I'm not asking you to make silly mistakes, but sometimes silly mistakes do direct you to the research ideas. And of course, as our chaos theory followers, I would like to ask you to sketch your research journey. I will teach you later on. Okay? Uh, why we need to understand PhD? Because you need to realize that when you go for PhD, you are considered as matured. So you're able to become independent. You can manage your own research quest or knowledge explorations. Okay, you need to be able to manage everything. And of course, you are considered having certain kind of knowledge, like say, like you understand the fields of your research, you having some kind of ability in analyzing, some kind of hands-on skills with tools such as computer software and machines, and you have some kind of uh, having your own uh, unique capability, like your soft skills. You're able to discuss and negotiate, and also you can lead. So sometimes supervisor will give you certain kind of tasks, like you need to handle small groups and try to teach like degree students. So they will like for you to do that, not because they are lazy, but because they want to see you that you are having that kind of capability, soft skill capability, like leading small research groups or writing uh, research proposals. Okay, then later on, your supervisor will enhance it, and then they will try to get the grant. So in PhD, what is the difference between PhD and master and degree? It's all up to creativity. So meaning how you creatively uh, giving some kind of alternative solutions to certain kind of problems. You become a problem solvers. You become an innovators, and you create a new things. That is a PhD uh, levels of study. You are able to offer new things. Okay, so managing your research. Okay, I suggest you write uh, 5 files. The first file will be logbook. It will be just like your diary. Whatever you do, you try to write it down. I will give some kind of example later on in the future. You need to have index files. I'll tell you how your index file become relevant in managing your notes and ideas. And of course, you need to have your experiment file where you systematically manage your research methodology and your research output. And of course, you need to have files that you can consider as journal collections. Sometimes you can use Mendeley to, to, to organize your journal collections. But during my days, I have my own journal collections having a big files, okay, big files of including managed to collect about 400 journals, whereas I'm only use 150 journals for my PhD thesis. And of course, you have to have the final file will be your thesis and paper writing files. This is where you put all your thesis, either your draft or your corrections thesis, you put in this file. I will be introducing to you later on why you need to manage it. Okay, why you need to manage your PhD uh, knowledge explorations. Okay, this is uh, related to my second slide. Okay, imagine that uh, you are starting your knowledge explorations from one point. You get more and more and more and more and more. At the end, it becomes chaotic in your mind. Then if you not properly manage it, you will be lost in your own mind. Okay, that is what happened to people, okay, doing their PhD. They can't find, I have read this, but they can't find the material that they have read before. Or I got my data, but where it is, they can't find because the file is not systematically in order. So you need to have some kind of management style. So that is the problem with certain people. They didn't realize that they need to manage. Okay, so management help you achieving your goals and also optimizing all the things that you've been collected for so far. Imagine that today you collect one papers and suddenly by the second years you already collected 350 papers, and from that 350 papers you can't uh, imagined that, oh, these papers, okay, could be categorized as method. This paper could categorize as comparison of your data. These papers are supporting your arguments, and these kind of things will be lost if you are not properly managing your research. Okay, and of course you need to understand the basic fundamentals of knowledge explorations. That is what I'm trying to tell you. It will be exponential, okay? You start with one paper, you start to collect it, and then at the end you got so many papers, just start like, you start at one papers, end up at 64 papers. It can be possibly be done for today's, okay? So this is the fundamentals of knowledge explorations. You start at one point, you end up at many, okay? And we'll show you, you will end up at many, okay? And of course, you have to have a basic ideas, basic philosophy that you can realize. You can look at MedMite Illustrated Guide to PhD, where you are having nothing, but when you start at one point, you start expanding it. And when you start to expand it, you start to focus it on one certain part. Then at the end, you got your PhD ideas of research that budding small dots here. And that is what PhD is about, okay? And I have the paper here that you can look for it. You can look it in my research kit, and you can find it how I explained on how your research could be going through, okay? So in time, okay, as Matt might putting it, and as what I put it, you have so many things that you will become in chaotic situations, okay? And the same goes with other research material, just like this is for nanotechnology, the growth exponential of your knowledge. It will be exponential, the same as the graph that I gave you before, sorry, okay? So meaning that that is what happened to you, okay? You need to explore it from one point to another, okay? So here I'm trying to teach you, you can use tables and try to become creative and identify your research idea. This is about silver nitrates in polypyrrolidone. This is my student PhD materials. You see that I'm asking him to put things in, in tables. Okay, you have the starting materials, you have the finding of the research things, and you have the authors that you can look forward to look for their papers later on. And here we start with silver nitrate, and you got silver nitrate, PVP, and glucose and natrium hydroxide. So this is how we can be creative. So you can start like educations, online, and you can start source and auto research. I'll try to teach you now, and okay. let's say we stop it here first. Okay, we try to look for screens. We try to look for where can I find Google search. Okay, okay. So here, let's say we go for let's say we go for educations. Okay, you can use this, and you can see that when you browse the internet in educations, you can see that it's about 6 million results. Okay, therefore you know that this field is very vast. The knowledge is so vast. So now let's say you try to reduce it. Teaching. Oh, okay. Now teaching, you got 856 million. Okay. Now let's say we are interested in COVID-19 uh, situation now. We try to look on online. Okay. So why it is having a bigger number here? Because you have three words here combining. Okay, now let's say we take out that and we try to find it. We compare with here, will be less. Okay, now let's say we are interested in teaching. Okay, teaching is about educations and online teaching. And then now we can see we have certain kind of things here. The COVID-19 pandemic and closure of school across the country has thrown teachers in curveball. So these kind of things, we can see that, oh, we have some kind of news there. It is a new trend, but we can't get materials that can we do references. We can look at, now we can see that we can get ResearchGate learning and teaching online. So okay, we can get papers from ResearchGate and we can download it. Okay, and article PDF available, so we can try to find it later on. Okay, we can download the papers. Let's say we download the papers, and so we got the papers. That's why important in the first phase of your research, you try to learn a lot of other tools. I will be telling you later on. Okay, so now we can see that we get a paper here, and still it's having no citation there, and we know Halina. Okay, so we can pick up Halina and copy it, and we put in our table. I will show you later on. Okay, okay, and again I will, okay, I will, okay, but this is not a paper. Okay, perhaps this will be as presentations. Okay, so but never mind, we can say that what the challenges involved in online, we can pick this up, then we copy and we put it in our table. Okay, and this is how we start the collections. We start the collection slowly, bit by bit. Okay, and later on, I hope you can see that. Later on, you will see that we are able to move from one point, okay? And so we pick up this, okay? We copy it, and we put in our table. Okay, learning and teaching online by Halina. Okay, and perhaps we read a little bit of writing. There are numerous definitions online in Indonesia, definitions that reflect the diversity in practice and associate with technologies. Teaching face-to-face and teaching online are both teaching, but they are qualitatively different. Online education starts when faculty move from the traditional classroom to the online classroom. Okay, so maybe we can cut this as our materials, and now we can find others materials. So this is what I'm saying as the style of your doing the collection of your material. Okay, so this is okay. Here again we got another one from ResearchGate. Here from Anna Comas Queen. So we copy that. So it's so simple in doing research. You just slowly collect it, okay, and put in your table, okay, okay. Let me do it, okay. And a key role in successful implementation of learning approach is played by teachers. So how well blended learning works will depend largely on how well teachers make the transition from the traditional face-to-face classroom role to the wider complex role of blended learning. So we copy that. Let's say we copy that. Now we have a few words that would be very much interesting. That's online learning, blended learnings, teaching face-to-face. So all these new terms will pick it up and put in our index file. So that is the first stage of becoming uh, uh, a PhD student. You need to start at a point, and at the end you end up at many. So just like you are having, oops, okay. Hmm. That I hope you can see this, that you start with uh, this. Let's say you start, okay, you can start like teaching online, okay, teaching online, and later you get keywords face to face, and then you got another keywords online teaching, online, and then you got more words that you need to put there, blended learning. Okay, and maybe from our reading, okay, let's say we are reading, we can say that traditional classroom, okay, we can put traditional classroom. So by the end of this session now, but by the end of these few minutes, we are already having a few definitions that we need to look at, okay, look into, okay. So this is how you started to collect, become in-depth, then you will start to become creative. And I will show you later on in a future video that you will be able to, to see how to become creative by this simple technique. With that, thank you. I don't like it to become so long because some people will not having the leisure to watch video for more than half hours. So I will make a very short video so that it will be appreciated more by people. Thank you.